Okay, so how can a non-human being sue a human being? That's a fraud. So, I mean, you have to understand that if I were to sue you, that's lawful. But if a corporation sues you,
that's legal.
that's illegal.
but it's covered under our legal system.
Yeah. So, I mean, you have to have a physical body in a court of law, and a corporation is not a physical body. And there's where the fraud goes.
All right.
So you have to remember, corporations are not physical human beings.
But they do have a lot of rights as human beings.
Well,
the right
we're digging into
and
the paperwork on that right now. And what we're finding is that the court case itself was a setup. And in fact, on my computer at home right now, I probably have some documents relating to that. I got word last night that a guy had finally gotten the paperwork pretty much around from the court case to prove that it was a setup. So.
Well, when we get into that, is that the case where 126 of you are helping these two gentlemen?
Well, that is part of it. See, we have so many ongoing investigations into congressional records and treaties and agreements and UN agreements and stuff right now that are ongoing. We have just begun to scratch the surface of what's going on. We're actually in a coup, ladies and gentlemen, in case you do not know it. We have congressional leaders who are trying to overthrow this government. And I and another person have now filed charges on Standard Forms 95, charging Congress with treason, sedition, and treason, high crimes and misdemeanors. And we have a court case now in D.C., Rodney Dale versus United States. The preliminary hearing is November the 6th at 9:30 a.m. And that court case is going to open a can of worms. There are 1,600 federal judges involved in it. One will be impeached. All government agencies, state, federal, local, are all named in it as co-defendants. Let's wait till that train goes by. The case that we're talking about was filed in let's see here. I have to back this up just a little bit. It's filed in Superior Court of the District of Columbia, H. Carl Montague Building, John Marshall level, 500 Indiana Avenue Northwest, Washington, D.C., 20001. The case number, and this is for all United States citizens who need to pay attention to what's going on in this court case, because this is huge, and it affects each and every one of us as citizens. Because this is a main suit against the United States Incorporated, also doing business as Congress, the United States Department of Justice, every government agency, every government entity, state, local, federal levels.
They're all unconstitutional.
So it's a criminal action. So if you have ever been wronged by your government, this is the court to take them to. And the case number is 2009 Charlie Alpha 005391, B as in Baker. Dale Rodney versus United States. It's the Civil Action Branch Chief, and his number his name is Derek Monroe, room 5210. His number is 202-879-1143. The preliminary hearing on this case is set for November the 6th, 2009 at 9 a.m. or 9:30 a.m. So anyone who is interested, you can go online also and find out about the case. Let me get back here. www.casefileexpress.com. casefileexpress.com, and you can keep abreast as to what's going on in that case. But I want to get back to this unconstitutional law inside a criminal Congress.
Is that part of this case?
This has to do with all the corruption that's going on in all the courts in the United States, and it deals with this case. Whenever you go into a court of law, the first thing you want to do is question the jurisdiction. And most of the time the judge will say, well, what do you want it to be? And you say foreign sovereign immunity. Because this all goes back to the 1945 deal where they turned all government agencies over to the UN. Now, we, the citizens of this United States, are foreign to them. And that is what the big deal is here, people. If we're foreign to them, trading with the Enemies Act, we are an enemy combatant. We, the people, are the enemy combatant of this new world order that they're trying to hustle off on us.
Here in the New World.
Yeah. So, you have to understand what these people are all about. This is treason and sedition in the highest levels of our government. On every level, every branch, everyone's involved in this because of the incorporations. Congress has 111 congressional corporations filed in the state of Delaware. Where in our Constitution did we give Congress the authority to incorporate anything?
Why are we enemies to this government that's a corporation?
It's a law that we passed here, trading with the enemy.
Why are they the enemy?
Well, we're the enemy. They've made us the enemy through this paper.
How did they make us the enemy?
Just the way they worded it. Just the way they worded it. When these people, when our elected officials take their oath of office, the minute they take their oath of office, they give up their citizenship. Remember? They turned it all over to the UN. How can you be a member of the UN and be the United States government? Can't. Our offices in Washington are vacant.
Well, don't they take oath to the Constitution?
Supposedly.
Do they take another
oath? Was
oath?
that the corporation's constitution, or was that it's the way they've got things worded now.
Whether they intend to be allegiance to the Constitution as 1700s or the Constitution as it was amended in 1945, you said?
Well, they didn't amend it. That's what the problem is. Instead of getting an amendment to the Constitution and bringing this to the people, they did it on their own.
The Congress.
Yeah, that's sedition and treason.
How did they get something like that through?
Remember, we didn't have the communication back in the internet. Today, you tell somebody something on the internet in 5 minutes, it's all over the world. So back then, if it wasn't reported in the newspaper, who knew about it?
That kind of reminds me of that. Who was that general after World War II who was propositioned to do a coup against the government, and he had hearings, and there's some film about it.
McCarthy?
No, he had a kind of a strange name. He was a World War I general. I want to say Peabody or Peavy. But anyway, there was a general.
Oh, I don't remember.
There was a general who testified that a group of people asked him to form a coup, and he went along with it so far, just enough to uncover it. And he testified, and just like the, many cases, nothing happened.